1927 will be much like the rest of the early years for the BYU football program, meaning that it was full of struggle and turnover. Hi, everybody. Jake Hatch, host of Locked On Cougars, back with another edition of our 100 seasons of BYU football ranked. Today, we check in on number 93 in the 1927 campaign. It marked the final season of Charles J. or C.J. Hart's run as BYU football head coach, ending his run at the helm of the BYU football program after just 3 seasons. And BYU had already in 6 seasons of football gone through 2 different head coaches. He led the Cougars to a 2-4-1 mark in this season with a 2-4 overall conference record, good enough for 8th place in the Rocky Mountain Conference. He ended up taking a job in the BYU Physical Education Department and led BYU Athletics in their athletic administration for many years to come after departing as head coach. BYU did make program history in 1927 with their first ever game outside the Mountain Time Zone in the Intermountain West when they traveled to Sacramento, California to face off against what is now UC Davis. The 2 programs played to a scoreless draw in that game. BYU was on the 5-yard line going in as time expired. BYU also marked the biggest points in a single game mark to date with a 60-0 shutout of Western State that season. That scoring margin of 60 points also stood as a record before and after for many years to come for the Cougars as well. Standout players from the season included Owen Rowe, who ran for 5 touchdowns, threw another, and returned a punt for a touchdown, while his teammate Clarence Skousen also ran for 4 touchdowns of his own, returned a punt for a TD, and also intercepted at least 3 passes that we know of with inconclusive records. That 3 touchdowns that BYU returned for 3 punt returns they returned for touchdowns that year, marked the second best mark in program history, tying 1980 and only outdone by the 1971 BYU football program. Check back next time as you check in on number 92 and rewind it just 1 year to the second year of the Hart era and how things went for the Cougars. Once again, this is our countdown of the 100 seasons of BYU football history right here on Locked On Cougars.